For weeks, I poured my heart into crafting an extravagant anniversary gala, inviting loved ones, kin, and co-workers to revel in the occasion. Every element was perfect. Twinkling lights draped the venue, and a lively band filled the air with vibrant tunes. To those around me, I glowed with joy, my laughter echoing as I glided across the dance floor in a breathtaking dress. Yet, beneath the sparkling veneer, I missed the subtle grief in my husband's eyes. Caught up in the whirlwind of praise, the chime of toasting glasses, and the rush of being the evening star, I didn't notice his quiet pain. My colleagues teased about my free-spirited, almost unattached demeanor, and in my excitement, I leaned into their jests, twirling with friends, laughing freely, and soaking in the warmth of their admiration. The thrill of being the center of attention was exhilarating, but in my joy, I unknowingly pushed away the one whose love for me was steadfast and selfless. At one point, I glimpsed him standing by the bar, his drink untouched, his gaze scanning the room with a subdued intensity. I tossed him a quick wave, but instead of joining me, he gave a faint, fleeting smile before looking away. I brushed it off, assuming he was simply tired or slipping into his usual quiet nature. Yet, there was a heaviness in his expression, a silent finality I failed to comprehend until later. The music surged, and the crowd roared as I danced playfully with a friend, the room buzzing with merriment. Someone shouted that I was the soul of the party, and for a moment, I basked in the praise. But when I spun around, the spot where my husband had been was vacant, his full glass abandoned on the bar. My heart faltered, though I convinced myself he'd only stepped away briefly. Minutes stretched into nearly an hour. I moved through the throng, my search growing desperate but concealed to avoid alarm. His phone went unanswered, each unanswered ring tightening the coil of fear in my chest. My husband wasn't one for theatrics or public disputes. If he chose to leave, it would be with a calm determination, a decision set in stone. I slipped outside, scanning the parking lot, clinging to the hope that his car was still there. But the space where it had been was now an empty chasm. The music's vibrant rhythm, once so alluring, faded into a distant, hollow pulse, taunting me. It hit me then. He hadn't just stepped out for air. He had walked away from the celebration, from me, from our life together. Panic surged as I dialed his number again, my hands trembling, but the silence on the line was deafening. Inside, the party carried on, oblivious to the collapse of my world. The once magical lights now burned my eyes, a stark reminder of my blindness. The music, once uplifting, now overwhelmed me, its intensity suffocating. I left the event early, offering vague excuses, my mind consumed by dread and remorse. When I reached home, the truth was undeniable. His belongings were partially gone, a suitcase missing, shoes absent from the rack, an empty watchbox. On the nightstand, his wedding ring sat deliberately placed, a quiet symbol of his departure. I collapsed onto the bed's edge, tears falling as the weight of my actions crashed over me. While I had chased fleeting praise and laughter from others, I had overlooked the one man whose love had been unwavering and true. He didn't raise his voice, didn't argue, didn't beg for my attention. He simply left, his silent exit resounding louder than any words could. Now, when I think back to that night, the music and lights no longer spark joy. They are haunting echoes of the moment I lost him, his quiet departure carrying a weight heavier than any argument we could have had.